Good morning, children. Today our topic is light, shadows and reflections. So light, we all know that is very important to see the world around us. You're able to see the world. So early in the morning, you come out and see the surroundings. You enjoy the beauty of sunrise. You enjoy the beauty of birds chirping. You can see that. The sky is cloudy and you can see the sun rises in the cloudy sky. You can see that greenery around you. You can see the grass. You can see the small plants with small droplets of dew. So you can enjoy the beauty of nature with your eyes. Okay. So we are able to see the world. It's because of light. If there is no light, you cannot see anything. Daytime you are able to see because light is there. Nighttime you cannot see anything because there is no light. Daytime the light of sun falls on the earth. So we have sunlight to see. Nighttime there is no light falling on the earth because you are on the other side of the earth where there is no sunlight falling. So you cannot see anything. Of course, you can see only with the help of artificial light, electrical bulbs and all. With those things you are able to see. But when we talk about natural light, daytime only we are able to see. So how we are able to see the things? When light falls on an object, the light gets reflected to our eyes, we see the reflection. So by that we can see the object. If no light is falling on that object, you cannot see that object. I am looking at you. You are looking at me. How is it possible? The light falling on my face, that light is reaching your eyes, then you are able to see me. So that is the way how light helps us to see the things. So when we talk about the light and the shadows and reflections, we need to know the meaning of certain terms. We should be familiar with certain terms. Let's see what are those terms. Luminous object, non-luminous object. What is this? What is a luminous object? What is a non-luminous object? Let's see. If any object, any body that is able to produce the light of its own, you call it as a luminous object or luminous body. Anything that produces light on its own, it is emitting the light. What is that? Sun is the best example. Sun is a star. Any star you can take. Sun is a star which emits the light on its own. You can take electric bulb or torch bulb. Electric bulb also emits light on its own. It produces the light. Sun, a star, produces the light. Moon, can you say moon? No. Moon do not produce any light on its own. Moon is just reflecting the light of sun. The sunlight falls on the moon, so the moon shines. The moon is reflecting the light of sun. It's not emitting the light. It's not producing the light of its own. So moon you cannot say it is a luminous object. Sun and electric bulb are examples of luminous bodies. So non-luminous bodies, the objects that do not emit the light on their own, that is a non-luminous body. Here you humans, you can write human body, we the humans, the moon, the earth. So all these things do not produce light on their own, just they reflect the light. We are able to see the world, you are able to see the garden, plants, flowers, fruits, animals, birds. All these objects are reflecting the light to your eyes. Then you are able to see them. Those are all non-luminous objects or bodies. Hope you are familiar with these two terms, luminous objects or luminous bodies and non-luminous object or non-luminous body. Now let us go to the other three terms that are important that we must know. One is opaque body. Opaque. So what is opaque? It's a property of a material. If you take a cardboard or a wooden plank, if you keep the wooden plank just in front of your face, right, can you see what is on the other side? No. Okay. So you are driving on a bike. If you keep one wooden plank in front of you, can you see the road? It's not possible. Why? Because the wooden plank is opaque. Opaque in the sense it does not allow the light to pass through it. You are driving the bike, your friend is holding a glass in front of you. Can you see the road? Yes, you can, because it is a glass. The light passes through the glass, you can see that. What is that nature? Transparent. If any body or material allow the light to pass through it, you call it as transparent. If the light is not allowed to pass through that object, it is called opaque. So now you understood the difference between opaque and transparent. You are driving a car. So what is there just in front of your dashboard? There is a glass to the car. So the glass, it protects from the wind and rain. So you are driving, you can see through the glass, you can look at the road. So we cannot fix a wooden plank in front of the car. We can use only the glass, because if a wooden plank is used, it is opaque. It does not allow the light to pass through. You cannot see the object. So you are driving a car. In front of you, there is some vehicle. A truck is coming. You are able to see the truck. How you are able to see the truck? The light falling on the truck is reflected to your eyes. So the light reflected by the truck is reaching your eyes. It is passing through the glass and reaching your eyes. So the glass is transparent. If any other material is used like metal or wood, it is opaque. You can't see. So if an object is said to be opaque, when it is said to be opaque? When it does not allow the light to pass through it. An object is said to be transparent when the light is allowed to pass through that. You call it as transparent. Opaque means light is not allowed to pass through. Then what is this translucent? Translucent means when an object or material allow the light partially, not completely, you call it as translucent. You know the butter paper. If you use the butter paper to see, you can see the other side, but you can't see it clearly. A smoked glass. For some kind of windows, they use smoked glass or glass with some design. So in that glass, just you can see the outline, a blurry vision of the person or anything out other side of the glass. You can't see exactly what it is. It's because of the light is not completely allowed, it's partly allowed. That is called translucent. You can make one translucent object, just you can take a paper. So if you use the paper to see what is there on the other side, you cannot see through the paper, it's opaque. If you put some oil, the paper becomes translucent. You can see what is there on the other side, but you cannot see exactly clearly. So that is translucent. Translucent means an object or material that allow the light to pass through partially. So it is a translucent object. So here we are familiar with the terms luminous object, non-luminous object, opaque object, transparent and translucent. Now let us see some examples of opaque objects and transparent objects. So we can see that any metals or wood, rock, brick, right. So likewise we can make a total list. You yourself can make a table and collect some things, certain items in your house, collect all the items and now check whether these objects are opaque or transparent. How can you check that there? See, if you take the object into your hand, if you are able to see something else which is behind the object, through that you can say that it is transparent. If you cannot see, it is opaque. And one more interesting feature of this opaque object is that opaque objects, they form shadows. So what are shadows? Right? Shadows are very interesting part to learn because we enjoy shadows. Right? Sometimes we can make fun with shadows. Sometimes you are getting scared of shadows. Sometimes you see when you are walking in the dark, if you see a shadow, then you will be scared. You may think that it's a shadow of a ghost. Sometimes accidentally, just by looking at your shadow, you will get frightened. Suddenly you have entered into a room. So the light is coming from some other distance. So your shadow, it fell on the wall just like a monster. You might get afraid. scared, right? So how a shadow is formed? What is a shadow? See here I have a torchlight. So this is the torchlight. I switched on this torchlight and the light is focused like this. Here I have a cardboard fixed. So by the light it falls here. I can see the cardboard white in color. Now what I am doing is, I am placing a circular board with a stand like this. I kept it here. So as the light is falling here, for the path of light there is a disturbance here, obstruction. This is the obstruction. It is obstructing the light. So here now you can see the shadow of this circular object, what I have kept here, the shadow of this object falls here. The shadow is falling in the sense what is happening, the light is not falling here, that's all. Shadow is nothing but the absence of light. The light is falling on the cardboard. In the earlier case, when this was not there, the light was falling completely on the cardboard. Now the light is not falling in this area. Why it is not falling in this area? Because the light, it was obstructed by this object. So if you obstruct the path of light by keeping any object, then you will see the shadow on the other side. Shadow in the sense, in that particular area there was no light. So that is the shadow. So there is a light in front of you, you stood there, light is falling on your body. If you just look back, you can find your shadow. Right? So shadow is nothing but absence of light. Where there is no light falling, that particular area is called as shadow. How can we recognize? We can see that outline, the shape. How we can see the outline? Because here we can see the outline. Why? Because the light is falling on all this area except this particular area, because it is obstructed by this object. So you keep the torch here. Instead of this object, you can keep your hands to form so many shapes. Birds, animals, trees, rabbit, human, baby, so many shapes. Right? Have you ever seen shadow puppetry? If you have not seen, just you can browse it in YouTube or internet. You can see the videos of shadow puppetry. That means they will make a beautiful story with the shadows. To form the shadows, they use the light and their hands. By keeping the hand in different positions, by using their fingers and hand positions, they cast the shadows of different animals and different figures. So by that they will make a story, that is called shadow puppetry. We can enjoy a lot with the shadows. So that is all happening because of the light and shadows, right? So now you understood what is a shadow. So shadows are casted by opaque objects. When an opaque object is kept in the path of light, as it obstructs the path of light, the light doesn't fall on one particular area. So that area is considered as a shadow. Okay. Instead of an opaque object, if you keep a translucent object, what are the translucent objects? Water is translucent, glass, acrylic. These are the transparent objects, right? So if you keep the transparent object, either the water or glass or acrylic, if you take any transparent object and put it here, what happens? Can it cast a shadow? No. Of course, even though it may cast a shadow, it will be very, very light. You can't see that. Because the light is passing through. The transparent one is not objecting the light, because the light is allowed to pass through it. So it's not casting any shadow. Right? Only the opaque objects are able to cast the shadows. You can do number of activities by taking a torchlight. You can see how the shadows are formed in your finger. You can experiment. If you keep the torch close to your hand, how the shadow is formed, what is the size of the shadow. If you take the light away from your hand, you will find the difference in the size of shadow formed and thickness of the shadow. Sometimes the shadows are very dark, pitch dark. Sometimes the shadows are light. Okay. So you change the angle of light, torch light. Sometimes you keep it down, sometimes you keep it up. You see how the shape of the shadow is affected, how the size of the shadow is affected. You can observe all this if you have a torch with you. If you have a torch and a dark room, you can experiment a lot with the shadows, you can understand. But here I have given you the idea of what is a shadow and how a shadow is formed. Children, we have discussed about light and shadows, right? So when we talk about light and shadows, we get something into our mind, that is taking pictures. So whenever somebody is taking a picture with the help of his camera or cell phone, he asks you to be in light. If there is a proper projection of light on your face, then he can capture the picture well. Right. So light and shadows, these are connected with the cameras taking pictures. So camera is a device that is used to take the picture, capture the picture onto a paper. So initially in camera the picture is taken digitally, later it is developed to a printout. In your cell phone just you can take a pic and you can see that pic any number of times. So that is captured, right? So even our eyes are a kind of cameras. Yes, we have a pair of cameras fixed to our head. So we can look at something and we can take a pic of that. We can get each and every detail of the picture in our mind. So we have two cameras, right? So now let us see how can we make a camera. Of course, we are not going to make a very complicated camera to take the pictures. Just we are going to make a simple camera called as a pinhole camera. So what is this pinhole camera? How is this useful? By making this pinhole camera, you can get the images of various objects onto a screen, right? Just you can see on the screen. You can cast the image of an object onto a screen, so that you can do that. Let's see how to do this pinhole camera and how you can get the images of objects into your camera. So you need to take a cardboard box. So here we have taken a cardboard box. It's a rectangular cardboard box. It's a hollow box we have taken, and we have taken one more cardboard box which is smaller in size. That means the smaller one fits in the bigger one. But see that when you fix the smaller one in the bigger one, there should be no gap. It should be tight, right? So by that no light enters into the box. So this is the outer box. I labeled it as A and this is the B. So for this box, at the back side you made a hole, pinhole. So that's the reason why you call this camera as a pinhole camera. Just you made a hole. And whereas in the inner one, the second box which you are going to keep inside that particular box, at the back side you have cut a square 5 to 6 centimeter. So after cutting the square, you pasted one butter paper. So this is also called as tracing paper. So you have pasted to the inner box, not the outer box. The outer box has got one hole, that is the pinhole. The inner box, it has got a cutting that is covered by a tracing paper. So now what you are going to do is that you are going to fix this inner box into the outer box this way. So you are bringing this box here. So like this it will be. So it has got the cutting here. Now you are moving the inner and outer boxes. So what you are going to do with this pinhole camera? So you have taken your pinhole camera out and you are trying to look at the objects which are far. You are looking for a tree, a building, But see that whatever the objects that you wanted to see them in your pinhole camera, they should be in a bright light. So you have to do this in a very sunny day where there is a plenty of sunshine. So you can go outside in the ground, you can see the trees and buildings. You can target any one tree and you can move your inner and outer boxes so by that you can adjust, and you have to see through the pinhole. So you have to see through the pinhole. You have to look at what? You have to look at the screen that you have made here by sticking the butter paper. So when you do this alignment very slowly, then definitely you will get the image of the tree, that what you are looking for. So how is the tree? You find the images upside down, right? You find the building image upside down. So in this way you can capture the images onto the screen of your pinhole camera. But anyway, you cannot record them, just you can see them by making this pinhole camera, right? So we can see the sun, we can observe the eclipse by using simple device, not by directly seeing at the sun. Okay, now let's see how to see the sun and how to see the eclipse, right? We cannot see the sun directly. It's very dangerous. You never attempt this at home. Don't try to look at the sun. It may damage your eyes. The bright sunlight may damage our eyes. We should never look at this sun, right? So if somebody wanted to observe the eclipse, here is a very simple and easiest way by which you can easily observe the eclipse. You can easily see the sun, how it is. You take a chart or a cardboard which is big enough and make a hole at the center. So you have taken a big chart or a cardboard and there you made a hole. Now you have taken this cardboard to the sun. Outside sunlight, you are holding the cardboard like this. The sunlight is falling. See, you are holding the cardboard this way or the chart this way. So here is the sun. The sunlight is falling. Here you can see that the shadow is formed. So whatever the cardboard you are holding out, so the cardboard's shadow is formed here. So at the center of the shadow you can see the light, a dot of light. It represents the sun. It represents the image of the sun. So here you caught the image of the sun on the ground by creating a shadow. If there is eclipse, so you know what happens during the eclipse. We cannot see the sun. During solar eclipse, we can't see the sun. It happens very gradually. Gradually, the shape of the sun changes. Part by part it will be missing and finally we see no sun, and again part by part we will be able to see the sun. It's all because of the shadows, right? You know that. So here the same kind of changes, what happened to the sun, the changes will be reflected here in your image that you caught on the ground. So here you can observe the eclipse. You need not raise your head towards the sun and you need not risk to see the solar eclipse with your naked eyes. Simply by doing this you can see how the eclipse takes place. Right. So in this way we can observe the sun and we can observe the eclipse. Now let us see what is the path of light, how the light travels. The light travels in a straight line. This is a fact. Light always travels in a straight line. How can we prove that? How can we verify that the light always travels by a straight line? See here, there is a source of light. Here we have taken the source of light, that is the candle. It is the source of light. Here is a boy. So this boy is aiming to see the light. So what he did, he took a pipe. So he took a pipe. How the pipe is? He took a pipe like this. So now, is he able to see the light of the candle? You know that the light travels in straight line. Straight lines. But what happened here? So he has taken a pipe like this, which is not straight. Can he see the light? Can he see the light? So on the other hand, Here we have one more boy. So he is looking at the candle through the pipe. So in this case, if you see that there, his eye is exactly straight to the light. The pipe is straight, it's not bending. Even though the position of eye and candle are in the same plane, they are exactly opposite to each other. If the pipe is in this shape, can he see that? The light cannot travel like this. The light always travels in a straight line. So the light, it travels till here, it gets reflected like this. That's all. It cannot go this way. Right. So we are able to see one thing. When the light from the object is reflected to our eyes in a straight way, straight path. So by this experiment, we can understand that light always travels in a straight line. It doesn't take any turnings. The light ray, it never takes a curved path. Light rays always travel in a straight line. So you can do this experiment by rolling a paper. You can make a pipe. You can see the objects. If you bend your pipe and see, you can see nothing because no light passes in the curved path. Now let's see mirrors and reflectors. What is a mirror? So mirror is a glass object. Mirror is a glass object. One side it is coated with some chemical. So by that it will give out the reflection. We know when light falls on any object, the light is reflected back. But all the light is not reflected. Okay, some light is absorbed. Some light is refracted. That means all light is not exactly reflected. In only some cases, when the surface is very plain, then the whole light is reflected. Whatever the light is falling on that light will be reflected when the surface is very plain. So likewise here we have a mirror, such a plain surface, such a very plain surface. When light falls on that, it gets reflected. Okay. So you have taken a torch and you focused that light onto a mirror. Now the mirror will reflect the light onto something else. Here your friend is there. He is standing over here. You are not throwing the light on your friend directly. You are throwing the light onto a mirror in this direction. So the light is reflected to your friend. So by this we can see that two things we can say. Light travels in a straight line. And second thing, it gets reflected. Mirrors reflect the light. So they reflect the light. So this way it is going to hit the mirror and this way it is reflecting. Okay. So by changing the direction of the mirror, you can change onto which object it gets reflected. That is possible. Here we can do one more activity. You can take a torch. You can take a torch. You can focus the light onto a cardboard. So where you have kept one comb. You kept a comb over here. So on this board you kept one mirror. This is the mirror M. So when you are focusing the light here, the light passes through the teeth of the comb and it forms the shadow. Again the light which is falling in the mirror, they form the shadows like this. So by this experiment also we can know that light travels in a straight line and it gets reflected by the mirrors. Okay. So this property of light getting reflected is used in many places. We have so many applications with that. So every day you use your mirrors to comb your hair, brush your teeth, wash your face and get the makeup, dressing, everything you need a mirror. So it works on the principle of light, that is the reflection of light. Okay. So you will be knowing more and more details and the properties of light in your higher class.